You didn't look very well when you broke that mind touch.
If you are referring to the Vulcan Mind Probe, Doctor, you are correct.
Spock, the Vulcan Mind Meld.
Very well, sir.
The Vulcan Mind Meld wasn't just given one single name. It had a whole array of names throughout the original series. I guess it just seemed like it had always been referred to as the Mind Meld.
However, it's pronounced, Mr. Spock.
And having only seen Star Trek in reruns, I didn't appreciate just how long the Mind Meld went without any name at all. So what other names were used, and when did this iconic Vulcan ability become officially known as the Mind Meld? I'll answer these questions and more, and we're starting right now. Hi, my name is Jeffrey, and welcome to Metatrek, where we take exploring science fiction to the next level. Apparently, naming the Mind Meld proved a harder task than creating it in the first place. I give a detailed account of how it was developed in my other video on the origins of the Vulcan Mind Meld. I'll provide a link to it in the description below and at the end of this video. The Mind Meld was initially only referred to as
an ancient Vulcan technique.
It was featured 3 more times in the first season, as well as in the second season opener, without being given any name at all. Even when the writer's guide was revised for the second season, it only states that Spock had, quote, a strange Vulcan ESP ability to merge his mind with other intelligence. Read the thoughts there, end quote. It wasn't until the next time Spock utilized his strange ESP ability that we finally get a proper name, although it's not the name you might expect.
Captain, I suggest the Vulcan Mind Probe.
Where, oh where did they come up with that name? The episode is lousy with the word probe.
They're a probe called Nomad.
This is that probe. To probe for biological infestations.
There was never any probe sent out for that.
I've correlated all the available information on the Nomad probe, and I'm convinced that this object is indeed that probe.
I heard some lectures at the Academy on the Nomad probe.
The first interstellar probe to seek out new life forms.
You will allow Mr. Spock to probe your memory banks and structure.
The other was an alien probe.
Captain, I suggest the Vulcan Mind Probe.
The time had finally come to name Spock's ESP ability, and since Spock had to probe the Nomad probe with his mind, I guess calling it a mind probe made the most sense at the time. Oh, how apropos. In the episode By Any Other Name, the mind probe is itself ironically referred to by another name. First, Kirk does a bit of retconning by calling the first season meld
A Vulcan Mind Probe.
and then McCoy refers to it as
That mind touch.
This makes By Any Other Name unique in that the mind meld is referred to by 2 different names in a single episode. We round out the second season with one final mention of the mind probe,
Spock, try to get through to him with a mind probe.
which makes it the most commonly used name for the mind meld during the entire original series. But for some unknown reason, it vanished from Star Trek forever after the second season, never to be heard again. Perhaps it had something to do with the book The Making of Star Trek, published at the beginning of the 3rd season. It contains the very first reference to Spock's ESP ability as a mind meld. Quote, another unique Vulcan ability exhibited by Spock is a type of ESP that Vulcans refer to as mind melding, end quote. This would be reflected in the show itself, as the very next mind probe would also be called a mind meld.
Spock, the Vulcan Mind Meld.
Very well, sir.
Mind meld itself is heard only once more in the original series,
I'll need you for the Vulcan Mind Meld.
and, ironically, it's mentioned but never used. But it still wasn't the official name. Not yet. Spock would refer to it by 2 other names later that season. First, in just one episode, the mind meld is called
A mind link.
the exact number of times, 11 in all, as all of the other names put together throughout the original series, the animated series, all of the classic movies, as well as the Next Generation. Then he adds one final name,
The Vulcan Mind Fusion.
the only name on our list to have been said just once. Spock ultimately referred to his ability by 3 different names: Mind Probe, Mind Link, and Mind Fusion. Adding Mind Touch and Mind Meld to the list, a total of 5 names were used throughout the original series. No more names were ever added after that. The Mind Meld was featured twice in the animated series, and both times it's called
A Vulcan Mind Touch.
The Vulcan Mind Touch.
With McCoy's mentioned from By Any Other Name, Mind Touch and Mind Probe are tied, replacing Mind Meld 3 times each in early Trek. Jumping ahead another 6 years, the motion picture would cement the Mind Meld as the official name for Spock's ESP ability.
I must try to mind meld with it.
Power pouring through that mind meld must have been staggering.
And ever since then, it's been called nothing else. The last time the mind meld is mentioned in the classic movies,
I had assumed he mind melded with you.
and the only time it's mentioned in The Next Generation,
A mind meld.
is by Spock's father, Sarek. And both times, he's melding with the captain of the Enterprise. I was surprised to discover that the name Mind Meld was introduced in the 3rd season, and then it was only used twice at that. So why did they eventually settle on Mind Meld as the preferred name? Well, Mind Meld is more lyrical. It therefore sounds more pleasing to the ear, and, as an alliteration, it signifies that the two words are linked together thematically, at the same time conveying the idea that two minds are linked together.
Please, Spock, do me a favor. And don't say it's fascinating.
No. But it is interesting.
Did they make the right choice? Or do you like one of the other names better? Let us know in the comments section below. And be sure to subscribe, it's a huge help. If you've enjoyed this look at how the Mind Meld got its name, please consider joining me over on Patreon, where I'll be diving even deeper into the subjects we cover here. Thank you for watching, and until next time, live long and prosper.